a full balanced perspective as to, of course, the appointment and, well, a response there from the opposition leader. Another story here, we're looking at government the intervention from the government. Well, they were able to resolve the retroactive fee dispute with Nutrien, and, well, in that regard, I think the company, the operations remain functional, and that's indeed a good look, because it won't be just a blow for the estate down there in Point Lisas, but it would also be a blow to, obviously, the economy, to the workers, to those people who are gainfully employed. And as I mentioned yesterday, I've been to the facility. That's a massive spread down there now. Yeah, that's a huge operation. I know Mickey Mouse operation. That's a massive operation, and many would have been impacted. So indeed, that's a good look. We're looking also, and certainly keeping our eyes on developments south of the border. Of course, our neighbors Venezuela, and their Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, went on record and said that TNT must pay for the dragon gas. She warns the Venezuelan population, and more so, she was sending a warning to Trinidad and Tobago, speaking about our new administration, making the statement that, you know, this I guess picture we're seeing on screen is deeper than just the handshake. She suggesting that we are, and we're paraphrasing here, puppets to the U.S. administration, and it's a lot of back and forth and some really strong language being used at this point in time. And I'm telling you, for us to sit on the table, which I'm sure at some point will happen, the energy minister, the prime minister, I'm sure there will be negotiations at some point in time. I would love to just be, as they say, a fly in the room to see and bear witness to how this diplomacy, which is very delicate at this point in time, will be dealt with and handled. And I mean, I trust, everybody there, they're all adults. It's just words going back and forth, but more than words, obviously, people are looking at policy positions. But at some point, we need to do business, and I guess she is suggesting if business is to be done, we need to be paid, and the deal, which, of course, is being more or less given the green light by Washington, the Venezuelans are suggesting here, and rightfully so, that the deal must include them, and there must be some profit for their natural resource. I mean, it's I guess, the natural rhythm of business and international relations. So we'll see how things pan out in that regard. Interesting days, months ahead. I'm watching a story here before I head to the sports page. It grabbed my attention. It's on page 10 of today's Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. It's a story of a man who made a daring escape. Now, he was driving a car with $5 million worth of marijuana. Police got a tip-off, decided to give him a chase. And while chasing on the Saddle Road, close to the vicinity of Santa Cruz, and Mr. Santa Cruz, I guess, I don't know if you heard this story. Apparently, when you're in hot pursuit and you recognize your liberty, your freedom is going to be taken. Because clearly he knows that obviously what he's up to is in the wrong, and if they hold him, he's going to be inside for a long time. Well, in the panic and in the adrenaline rush, the man, again, I can't make this up, this is stuff out of a movie, folks. Let me read it here. As the officers attempted to intercept the car along the North Coast Road near the pillars, that's the pillars going up to Maracas, the man take off. Speed is chase now, and that Santa Cruz stretches corners. There's plenty corners, so I can imagine the action and the drama going through Santa Cruz. When the man got close to the Santa Cruz area, the driver eventually stopped, ran out the car, and jumped off a bridge into a nearby river and escaped. Of course, the officers retrieved the marijuana, $5 million worth, by the way, and the car, but the man run, find bridge, jump off said bridge into river and swim off. Now, I mean, officers, let's be real, there are some who would go in hot pursuit, but less than more. The majority will say, nah, boy. Ooh, I surprised shots weren't fired. Because that is what you call a daring escape. As to where the man is right now, nobody knows. Probably still in the river, somewhere floating in the Santa Cruz area. But nonetheless, that was, wow. You can't make this stuff up in this Trinidad and Tobago. You can make it up. Let's head to the back page. Well, Naps stumbles against Prez, a first half goal, 1-0 the score. But of course, Naps still lead the table by 2 points against arch rivals Fatima. So Naps still on top with 27 points, Fatima on 25, St. Benedict's on 24. With presentation also, they're joint on 24. The only difference really is goals. That's why St. Benedict's is in third place, and of course Prez in fourth. And St. Anthony is bringing up the fifth place via the Tier 1 in the Secondary Schools League Premiership. St. Anthony's on 19. So it's heating up via the schoolboy football, and obviously, you know, Ian Wason will give us some more intimate details later on, but congratulations there to Prez with that 1-0. And you know, that Prez Naps, that's a big rivalry. That's a Classico. That's the South Classico when it comes to schoolboy footballs. I don't get involved in that bacchanal because, you know, Naps Prez, that's legacy. That's years of, you know, that's just, you don't get involved. You just sit on the sideline and you enjoy the friendly rivalry. So again, congratulations. Let's move to the brief on this Thursday morning. I Want to Live. Former Shiva Boy student seeks help in battle with leukemia. Really, you know, heartfelt story, heartwarming story, and he's putting in, I mean, you know, putting in that fight, extra game, and of course his family and all those surrounding him are giving him that much needed support. So we want to say to you, Dinesh, you will live, stay strong, keep fighting on, and of course we'll keep you in prayer. Also, Venezuelan ambassador here, His Excellency Cordero, presents a statue to the Archbishop there. Of course, we are looking at, well, that's the Archbishop Santiago de Witt Guzman, right? Apostolic Nuncio to TNT after a mass in the Embassy of the Vatican in St. Clair, Port of Spain. So again, as mentioned, we keep our eyes on developments with Venezuela. I mean, obviously things are very calm right now. I'm sure at some point we will get a chance to sit down, negotiate. The diplomacy will have to be very, very tender, very delicate, very strategic. But I think we could work it out, hopefully. We can work it out. And I have faith that, you know, these leaders could meet and trash everything out and work hand in hand. Let's move now to the Business Guardian, because up next, Anthony Wilson steps in. That's right. We unpack this front page story and some of the other leading developments via our Business Guardian for today, Thursday. Anthony Wilson, consultant business editor, joins me on the Zoom line next.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2 Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Ping pong,
Some chocolates, concentrate flavor. Ping pong, everybody wants some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong bunks into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts. Delicious top class A plus ping pong. Ping pong, from chocolate, bunks into flavor.
Anthony Wilson joins me on the Zoom line for our Business Guardian breakdown for today, Thursday the 23rd of October, 2025. Anthony, great to see you as always. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jason. Good morning to the Morning Brew viewers and listeners.
That's right.
Today is Business Guardian Day.
It is. It is. It's a great day. I want to go immediately to Geisha's story. It dominates the front page here, and it treats with Tobago. The suggestion here is that Tobago more dependent on Trinidad, and Vanus James, economist, a matter of fact, Dr. Vanus James says the Tobago economy is more shackled to Trinidad, and he speaks here of 127 years of wardship. Could you elaborate on this story for me, Anthony?
Yeah. So this part of the Guardian's business desk continuing coverage of the 2026 budget, because the budget speech is only one part of the overall coverage of the government's plans for the 2026 financial year. Dr. Vanus James is actually regarded as one of the top economists in this country, Trinidad and Tobago. So when he makes a statement based on his analysis of the budget, I think people need to take it very seriously. And his analysis is that the government's allocation for Tobago for the 2026 financial year makes Tobago more dependent on Trinidad. And he did some, he ran some numbers, he did some ratios, and he found out that the allocation for Tobago is $6 billion is 31% more than the gross domestic product of Tobago, and that Tobago contributes less than 20% of what is needed for the island, or what was allocated for the island, which is quite astonishing. Also it makes a very good read. So I invite readers, viewers, listeners to take a read of that story to understand the dynamics between Tobago and Trinidad.
Indeed, I guess this is a removal really to the, what would have been a overwhelming consensus last week, that many in Tobago were kind of happy, the chamber and others, with the allocation and the fact that they receive more. But he's suggesting with this more, it creates a bigger dependency syndrome. That's what he's suggesting here in layman's terms?
Yeah, that is exactly what he's suggesting in layman's terms. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anthony, I want to head to your story. Go ahead. Anthony, we're getting a slight delay.
I'm going to tie off the Tobago story. And I think the fact that he uses the word ward, 127 years of wardship, to me is very telling, because Tobagonians resist the use of the word ward in connection with Tobago and Trinidad. So,
wardship almost sounds like a kind of basket case. That's how it sounds.
It's kind interesting.
Yeah, it's a kind of language is very important, and I guess wardship sounds a bit, to many, a bit but then again, these are experts in their field, and I guess we listen and then we make our own analysis on the particular story. I want to head to your development here. Should TNT fear government control of Republic and FCB? Should we, Anthony?
Yeah, I think I want to leave that for readers to conclude. What is clear to me is that the government intends to has already put in place measures to control First Citizens, which is the second largest bank in this country, by assets. The government, based on what the Minister of Finance said in the budget speech 2 Mondays ago, is putting in place measures to ensure Republic Bank or Republic Financial Holdings Limited. And that is due to the fact that Corporation Sole, who is the Minister of Finance, Corporation Sole is the construct that holds all assets owned by the state. And that construct places those assets, the Minister of Finance, who is considered to be the Corporation Sole. So based on the government's acquisition of shares from the CL Financial Group, Corporation Sole owns 32+% of Republic Financial Holdings Limited, and the National Insurance Board owns another close to 19% of RFHL. And because the National Insurance Board is controlled by the Minister of Finance, Corporation Sole, it is my contention, I don't think there's too much dispute about it, that Corporation Sole, Minister of Finance, Mr. Devendranath Tanku, can place a majority of directors on the RFHL board and therefore would control the destiny of that bank.
Yeah. Phil Anthony?
Should that proposed move be fed? I think at the end of the day, stakeholders of RFHL, which would be the shareholders, customers, depositors, the government itself, all of the, and the other thing about RFHL is that it is the largest financial institution in the region. And I think the size of RFHL and the fact that it is owned by thousands of Trinidad and Tobago and regional shareholders means that the government needs to be especially careful in how it goes about controlling that company.
Thank you so much for the perspective, Anthony. It's a pity we're out of time. I would have really loved for us to do a deep dive into the story on page 4, where you have suggested here, well, many via the Business Guardian have suggested TNT not prepared for war, experts on fallout if U.S.-Venezuela conflict erupts. And yes, I think that this story here is a really amazing read. There are some developments and risk involved, and basically kind of given, it's not fear-mongering, but it's speaking to the reality of, if God forbid, anything was to jump off in the region, what are the possibilities? So I think this is indeed a great read.
Yeah, we are 7 miles from Venezuela at our closest point. So, what happens in Venezuela is going to impact us.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, yeah. It's a story from Raphael John Lal. I've said many times on the show, we know storm. We recently had a tornado. We know strike. We know certain issues, but we don't know war. we don't know that. But nonetheless, Anthony, have a great one. Thank you so much. We'll touch base next week. God spare.
Thank you, Jason.
You're most welcome.
Bye-bye.
That's right. Anthony Wilson, consultant business editor there from the Business Guardian desk, touching base Kobe Sandy joins me next, youth advocate, to get into the post-budget 2026 analysis. We're going to treat with a couple talking points, namely education and development and job creation. Youth advocate Kobe Sandy next.
Welcome to the speed round of getting money right. Let's begin. Name some of the red flags associated with an investment scam.
Pressure tactics to invest.
Correct.
Promise of money if you bring friends.
Correct.
Request for personal information.
Correct. Bonus question. What is the penalty for operating a pyramid or Ponzi scheme?
$10 million and 10 years in prison.
Correct. Well done. The scores are even, so we go to our tiebreaker question. You receive money in your account from an investment company, and they tell you to transfer it to a third account. Does that sound right?
I think about it, and that's not right.
Congratulations, you tinker. Getting Money Right is brought to you by the TTSEC. Visit investigateTT.com to access free learning resources and check the TTSEC for a list of registered individuals and securities. The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. You invest, we protect, everyone benefits.
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office? Surprise! Not yet, Carl. Bro, I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax. I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
Product to younger people.
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
More Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Kobe Sandy joins me on the Zoom line, youth advocate, to discuss the 2026 budget. More or less, the focus this morning will be on youth initiatives and, of course, education, because I know that's a very special area for you, Kobe. I want to say thank you for the time. I look forward to your perspective. Welcome.
Thank you again, Jason. Thank you for having me here this morning.
So I'm looking at about 290 million plus would have been put aside for sport, and I'm looking also at education with around 8.766 billion. Walk me through the numbers as we crunch the numbers. Do you think it's enough to engage the young people? I'm seeing there is a youth agricultural fund also being put in place. Based on the numbers, did the new administration pay particular attention to the youth and more or less education initiatives to, I guess, foster some sense of hope and sustainability with the young people? Your perspective, Kobe.
Well, Jason, I will describe this budget with regard to young people as a condemnation to young people in this country. It was very bizarre to me going through the line items and numbers of the various ministries, especially the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, given the fact that we have seen in that ministry a pausing or a following and now a cutting out of various programs and initiatives that was geared to youth development. If we go into that budget for Ministry of Sport Affairs, you will see that in the development program, and that is not the recurrent is talking about salaries and buildings and rentals and all those bills. But the development program is where you really see what the government intends to do to really inspire and spark critical development in the sector, in the various sectors. And with young people, in the last administration, there was a budget and allocation for $50 million for the ministry to do the developmental programs, for young people. You would have seen under that ministry, there were a myriad of things, skills training, there were mentorship programs, there were the opportunities to operationalize all the youth facilities, the youth centers, the youth camps that was built under the last administration. When you go into this budget, it is a stark comparison of only $10 million. And that $10 million, Jason, $8 million is allocated to improve indoor arenas, and the remainder is for IT work in the ministry. So essentially, there is no money for young people and for the development of young people by the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. In fact, what I saw in their PSIP document was a $200,000 IT course. So coming from a ministry that had raving success for youth development, what you do when you come in the ministry is to gut all those programs, gut all the funding, and my understanding, the staff at the Ministry of Sport and Affairs have all been sent home regarding the short-term employment. Over 100 staff members who were in critical areas like communications, like IT, the Youth Affairs Division, the Sport Division have all been sent home. So there is no staff, no human resources, and no finances to inspire youth development in this country. And that is a grave cause for concern.
So the programs that would have been there for the at-risk youth, you're suggesting to me, well, not suggesting, you're telling me this morning that all have been put on a back burner. So what? So this youth agricultural fund, is that going to be used to at least try to keep some program going?
Well, Jason, just like you, I am also perplexed to understand what that fund is supposed to be. And from my feeling, that fund is literally a mama guide to say you have youth programs. How could it that you have had 3 successful, impactful programs in the names of the Homestead program, the Shade House project, the Aquaculture program? You shut them all down. And then you are saying to us you have the youth agricultural fund that you haven't really enunciated. We haven't heard the Minister of Youth speak about this. We haven't heard the Minister of Agriculture speak about this in the budget debate that they would have concluded. We haven't seen any details on this fund. So we are perplexed. And when I mean we, as young people, are perplexed, and especially young people who were in these programs and are hoping and praying that they will receive what was promised to them, by virtue of this program. So they are looking at this and see what is going on, and they haven't received any updates. And this fund, to me, is really and truly, it looks and it appears to be a mama guy to young people of this country.
Kobe, when you went through the numbers, were you able to uncover anything regarding OJT?
I did, and listening to the Senate Finance Committee, you are seeing more and more unscrupulous things coming out from this government regarding young people, and we are seeing a $45 million decrease in the OJT program. The Minister of Tertiary Education is saying that they're going to review the program, and what I am very concerned about is that this program was created to provide training and employment opportunities for young people. Many young people depend on the OJT program to live. And you are cutting this program by $45 million tells me that there is no intention to continue hiring, to increase the numbers, to increase the cohort for OJT. And in fact, Jason, when they came into office, they have stopped taking in new OJTs in this program. So it tells me that that is not a program under their agenda. And for me, it is a disservice to young people who, really and truly use these programs for their upliftment.
Well, I saw there was an employment drive on Monday at the Cycling Center in Couva. Do you think a particular initiative like that could absorb some of the young people who would have been displaced?
So when you look at that recruitment drive that happened on Monday over the weekend, I consider that to be another con job by this administration, because you fire 50,000 people, and then you are saying to us you're going to hire 20,000. And when you look at the different line items in the budget, you will see that there are no increases in the salaries and, of course, contract employment votes in the various ministries. So I am wondering, and we're all wondering, how are you going to pay these vacancies when you haven't even budgeted for the payment of it? So for me, it's another public mama guy and a public puppy show to distract us from the fact that there are no opportunities, or you have removed the opportunities for young people in this country.
So what's the sense you're getting on the ground when you talk to young people, those who would have been part of the programs, the Amplify, the Hoist? I remember them by name under the last administration. Of course, these, it's now up in smoke. It's something of the past. It doesn't exist anymore. What's the position of these young people who would have been part of all these different programs?
They are feeling robbed, and indeed they are feeling very perplexed and dismayed by what is taking place. They are feeling forgotten by an administration who says that when UNC wins, everybody wins, and they are still looking to win. What good it is, Jason, for you to take away programs and opportunities from young people. We young people are not asking for favors, we're not asking for grants, we're not asking for handouts. All we are asking is opportunity. And you take away opportunities that are so rare in the world right now with regards to young people, and you expect us to, of course, still stand by you. I think it is a colossal disgrace and disservice this government is doing regarding young people. I've been here before, and I was very careful with my words before, Jason, but today I'm not, because it is they continue to really and truly embarrass and to play in the face of young people, and that is, for me, a disservice.
Let's move on to the education scenario. Very important in any society, including, of course, Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm watching Guardian, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today, page 9. I'll implore you to get your copy today.
Of course.
It says, book grant in limbo as the education minister says, program under review, quote, unquote. What's your take on some of the utterances out of the parliament yesterday as they go through their debate? The finance committee, they're having the back and forth. We are hearing of some developments as it pertains to education. Mind you, there is a massive allocation, and that allocation is 8.766 billion. Your take on the most recent utterances from the minister and the developments in parliament?
Well, of course, Jason, education will receive its fair share from the budget, but most of that money goes towards recurrent expenditure, paying teachers, school repairs and so on. But those programs, like the book grant and the school repair, the remedial classes, or the remedial classes program for students who are having difficulty in their academics, now being gutted or now being, seeing decrease in allocations tells me a very dark story. Because other than a youth advocate, I'm a member of council, I'm an alderman, and I'm chairman of education and the Point Fortin Borough Corporation. And we have a lot of parents and families who have depended on these book grant programs. We all know that even though education is free, it is still not free. And when you have families that can't afford to pay for books and so on, and the government is giving you this opportunity to get books and critical material and takes it away, say under review, what it does, it cause consternation among those families, and then you are reducing the ability for the student to, of course, maximize the full potential, because, of course, the government has not taken away this program. The school remedial classes that have been successful for the last few years have seen SCA students who didn't do so well and having difficulties in their academics being taken up in the vacation period to really actually build their potential, to build their capacity, and to increase their chances of success. And when you reduce expenditure or you take it away, what you are doing, you are setting up these children, these young people for failure. And as a former guild president who, have advocated for young people and students for the past few years, this is concerning to me and concerning to any family who now have to experience this loss.
Well, I'm watching that the laptops, at least, they're going to keep that. The administration are planning to keep that particular commitment. They're suggesting here that by December, in time for the second term, the laptop should be here, all 18,000 laptops.
Well, I want to know this, and that was from August to September, to October, now December. So every day the goalpost continues to push and move with regards to these laptops.
Yeah, well, I guess we've been given a timeline, so I guess we'll wait and see if indeed it will manifest and will come to being in December.
Before you move on, I want to just say this one bit regards to young people and the budget. We have seen a astronomical increase in borrowing to cover expenditure by this government of $18 billion. And I want to say that this affects young people in a big way because that debt that has now been undertaken by the government to cover, current expenses for political needs comes on the backs of young people. It is not Tanku's debt, it's not the Prime Minister's debt, it is my debt, it is your son's debt, Jason, it is all the children in school uniform debt, and it's also the debt of the unborn children in this country. And if we don't manage that, we will find ourselves, us young people, would not be able to see our fullest potential because of having to pay for our elders' choices and decisions today. So that is also a concern to me.
Kobe, what's your recommendation? I want us to end with a recommendation. Obviously, tough times call for tough measures, and sometimes we need to find a way to get over the line. A matter of fact, I had an economist on the program, I won't mention his name, but he suggested that for those who are in the bracket of unemployed at this point in time, and again, not my words, he suggested that people should go sell some water or catch crab to get over the line. No, I mean, that's a kind of stretch. However,
Yes.
On a more serious tip, what's your words of encouragement or a recommendation to the young people looking on who might have been impacted?
To young people, I will say to don't allow what is happening in the country today to affect your chances of dreaming. You can still dream, you can still press forward, use whatever is available still today to reach closer to your dream. Tomorrow I graduated with my master's, Jason.
Congratulations.
Thank you. After three years, and I want to say that, young people, the sky is still not the limit because there's further than the sky. Push forward, press forward, work hard. If you are in business, you push your business to the best of your ability. If you're in school, do your schoolwork to the best of your ability and become the change makers, because we at the end of the day have to be the ones to carry our country forward and speak up and step out and to be great as usual. So that's what I will tell young people today who are listening on.
Kobe, as always, a sincere thanks. Great talking with you. And you really, you didn't hold no water at all in your mouth this morning. It came out swinging. But listen, you're speaking the reality of the moment, and let's hope for improvements as we carry on. All the best, Kobe. And congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes. Kobe Sandy, youth advocate, touching base with us on this Thursday morning. Up next, Police and You. Officer Russell is back with us this morning. We are treating with Tobago and the do's and don'ts for the October Carnival that's currently in full swing. Officer Russell up next.
Looking for big savings and a better shopping experience? Come on down to Food Shoppers Supermarket, 121 Eastern Main Road, Arima, in the J Chai Trading Compound. 10% off meats every Wednesday, 30% off fresh produce every Sunday and Monday. Plus, buy one, get one deals on select items. Shop in comfort, wide aisles, cool and clean store, and spacious parking. Food Shoppers Supermarket. Big on savings, big on comfort.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon. Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best market around, high quality meats pound for pound. Get the best for let's start shopping. Go to Southern Food Basket. Shopping how you like it. High quality at the best prices. Every aisle just wide and spacious. So spend less at Southern Food Basket. Good food at great prices for sure. Come get what you're looking for.
So glad to have my colleague back, ASP Russell. Of course, you know, once Officer Russell is not here, we have sometimes Officer Ali and others who will, you know, come in and bring the commentary. So, you know, to everyone who steps into the particular role and function on the seat on a Thursday, I want to thank you because I know your schedule is indeed intense. So we thank you for the time and, of course, the advice and dialogue as always. Welcome.
Well, let me first say it's a pleasure to be back. President, good morning to Trinidad and Tobago on behalf of the Commissioner, the Deputy Commissioners, and First and Second Division Officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Well,
you know, you come back and it's action because Tobago is around the corner. Well, Tobago's happening right now. It's right now. Of course. But before we head to the sister isle, I want to take you to Santa Cruz. I want to ask you about a special operation that took place. I'm seeing some of your colleagues, Senior Superintendent Sherma Maynard Wilson, Superintendent Mackenzie, ESP Pitt. You know, kudos to great policing. They would have received intelligence that, you know, a particular car was in the area. Would have had, well, what they discovered after was $5 million in marijuana
and a firearm.
Yes. Yes. But the man, they took, it was a big high-speed chase from the pillars, so they're going through the Santa Cruz Road. It's a winding road. You know that road is. That road, even when you're driving calm, it's for the newbie, it's a bit intense. So they were chasing the man, come out the car, run, jump off a bridge, ESP Russell, and went into a river, swim off, and escaped. I mean, wow, that is intense. I mean, I guess in a scenario like that, officers, I mean, you're not gonna. Was he trained? What happens in a scenario like that? Because I guess I've seen where I think it was in Jamaica or somewhere, an officer jumped behind a man already in a river. But then that in itself is a health and safety risk, right?
Definitely. I know I looked at the smirk on your face and I know it sounds a bit movie-like, right?
That is a movie.
Let me tell you something.
No, but walk me through seriously in a scenario like that. What's the protocol?
In a scenario like that, we would try to use the description of the person, whatever we know. When we retrieve the car, we dust it for prints and see if we could get any positive hits or anything that could make us identify the person who was driving the vehicle. Most of the times, those exercises are intelligence-based. So we may have an idea, John Brown of whoever team, and you want to really glorify no gang number on the television, right? So you may have information, hey, John Brown from wherever is transporting something, because we know we always thank the public for the information, and the public continue to supply us with the information, and we want to say thank you. We know we really appreciate you. So you already have an idea. So you would just do certain things, like for instance, you would take a description of the person. You might have seen a male of African descent or whatever descent, 6 feet height, approximately 150 pounds, with a tattoo on the back or a tattoo on the left hand. At the time was clad in a brown shoes, a black pants, a red t-shirt, looked in the direction of the police and ran and jumped into the river.
So in a sense, you'll kind of get him on the rebound. No need to really jump in and risk your life at that point in time.
And of course, it's self-preservation first, because your family wants you to come back home to you. And let me add something, and I know you said that. I remember years ago working in a particular section that has a drug mandate. And we were planning an exercise up in the Northeastern Division, Marcus Lafayette District. And in distributing the men, we said, we put in men there, and we would, no, don't put nobody there. That is a precipice 160 feet. Nobody could jump there. When adrenaline takes you and you're trying to get away, just for the sin, nobody would jump.
The man jumped.
Jumped, got up, and ran, and started to swim into the sea.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I guess, I mean...
So it happens, eh?
Yeah, because I mentioned that in my opening this morning, and I said to myself, you know, I don't think anybody, even if the commitment is there to chase, you know, really and truly, when you look at it from a health and safety standpoint, unless, I mean, this is the greatest criminal of all time, I guess you probably catch them on the rebound, because we have to put ourselves in a position who really would, I mean, he trying to escape.
Yeah.
But I mean, to jump in a river and a moving river too.
And that is it. We always operate within the confines of the law, notwithstanding we are trying to capture a criminal or a suspect. You know, we also have to think about things like backdrop selection and stuff like that in discharging our firearms. So we, notwithstanding we are in the atmosphere and the adrenaline is flowing, we always have to remember that our actions will be calling.
And then you could probably lose your tools of engagement. Let's say you jump in a river, you lose your belt, you lose your gun. I mean, that's a whole different story, right?
Different story.
Wow. Well, hopefully they could catch John Doe, Mr. John Doe.
Well, hopefully we will.
River Boss?
Not hopefully we will.
They will. When you catch River Boss, please let me know.
Oh, definitely.
Wow. We're heading to Tobago. I'm hearing that extra boots on the ground, officers going across to help the team there in Tobago. Just walk me through the do's and don'ts and let me know what's the plan.
Let me tell you something. We recognize the magnitude and the escalation of the Tobago Carnival. And the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we are going on there to make sure that you are safe. We have a lot of joint agency exercises down here on the port. As you come off the boat in Tobago, throughout the carnival, we'd have roadblocks, road checks, stop and searches. You name it, we will have it. So let me put out one time, if you're going to Tobago to cause any trouble, you will be dealt with and placed before the court of law. So whatever idea you have, if you're going for a good time, all well and good. But if you're going with any intentions of causing any trouble or any disruption in the carnival activities or anything surrounding it, we will be there to take you into custody.
Because Tobago prides themselves as the safest carnival.
That is it. And, you know, it has this year, there's a lot of international attraction with respect to Tobago. You know, and whilst you're on that, we want to tell the females, please do not accept any, all the usual carnival tips, do not accept any drink from strangers. You know, you may be going to meet somebody who you would have met online or who may have came down from the US or other places. We are asking for people to treat people with respect and dignity, especially when you go to the airport. Some persons may be on standby, there may be some delays and stuff like that. Treat people with kindness, with dignity, with respect. Park the vehicles in well-lit areas. Go out in groups. Look out for each other. If you see something, say something. There will be police officers, and we would have sent a great contingent to Tobago to augment the strength of the Tobago police. So for persons who feel like, I'm going to Tobago where nobody knows me, think again.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the word park there, SP Russell, because, Tobago, some of the roads, the space is not as vast as, let's say, Trinidad, and people sometimes very indiscriminate with their parking. They might block certain roads, especially when we consider the Pigeon Point area and other locations where the parties are going to be held. Is there going to be a strong presence to ensure traffic flow and more so I've never heard of a wrecking scenario in Tobago. Is that going to be implemented at all?
I believe there will be a wrecking team implemented because, I mean, you cannot just park indiscriminately. We would need to move you. And, because, some persons may have the attitude, well, Tobago is a smaller island and we go in there and it's all caution to the wind. Let me tell you to take that thought out of your head immediately. It's not about all caution, throw all caution to the wind. You go up there and you operate within the confines of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And as you talk about parking, let me caution the drivers. We will have a lot of breathalyzer tests going on as well. So we want to discourage the drinking and the driving. We want to discourage the speeding because Tobago roads are narrower. And for persons who may be going up for their first time, their second time, and not too familiar with the road network, we are asking that you take your time. Have a designated driver. Seek your safety. Be careful. Be careful with your jewelry.
Yeah, people feel a bit more relaxed in Tobago, honestly, and they adorn the jewels. It's out. People don't feel as threatened. They feel way more relaxed in Tobago. Yeah. So you're suggesting to probably leave that in the hotel or not bring it at all?
I would say if you have a safe in your hotel, I mean, you leave it in your safe or not bring it at all. Because I mean, at the end of it's carnival activities nonetheless. You're around crowd, you're around persons. I mean, you might be with your people and know where your people are safe. But what about that moment when you make the walk to the bathroom? What if you all you all lost each other for a small moment, at 10 minutes, at 15 minutes? It takes nothing, to have your change snatches at 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes.
So the presence is going to be a strong one, and there's an operational plan for Tobago this weekend.
There was definitely an operational plan for Tobago this weekend. And for those going across, we know that some persons may leave their house vacant. We would have also taken steps to increase patrols throughout the communities in Trinidad and Tobago because we expect that quite a few persons come. When you look at the numbers, I think it's over 20,000 seats in total would have been added to the Tobago route via the airline alone. And then the boat, I understand, has about 4 sailings per day as of yesterday. So it could be an expectation of a crowd between 35 to 40,000 persons. So in other words, the population of Tobago is going over to Tobago.
Yes, it's true, because Tobago's population is about 60,000 plus.
So that is how serious it is. And as early as this morning, persons were on their way to the airport, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, to see if they could get on a standby.
Well, as we wrap things up, I must say the road management, I think, will be of paramount importance. Yes, I'm happy to know the operational plan is in place to secure the safety, but in terms of the cars, the rentals, people bringing their car on the boat, it's going to be tremendous. The traffic, I'm sure, will be tremendous. So I'm hoping that there's going to be that constant presence in the night and in the day to ensure there's a flow in the main thoroughfare.
But what I want to also encourage that the environment you're going into. It's carnival, it's traffic. We are asking for patience. We are asking for self-discipline and self-regulation. Because the environment, there are cars up there are persons who are going up and carry their vehicles. So we are expecting a little more tolerance from the public of Trinidad and Tobago. We are expecting that even not in the absence of a police, that you still do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Well said. Well said. Great advice. And as mentioned by ASP Russell, there is an operational plan. We want everyone to be safe and ensure that Tobago Carnival remains the safest carnival and an enjoyable carnival. Happy Tobago Carnival, Tobago. Enjoy yourself to the max. ASP Russell, be safe. See you next week.
Thank you. Have a good day, Trinidad and Tobago.
Up next, your 7 a.m. news update. Much more after 7.
Good morning, I'm Akash Samaru with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. There's been a breakthrough in the impasse among Nutrien, the National Gas Company, and the National Energy Corporation. NGC is confirming it will no longer pursue $28 million in retroactive fees and has reopened port access to the company. Nutrien, one of the world's largest suppliers of crop inputs and services, announced on Tuesday that it would begin a controlled shutdown of its Point Lisas operations.
This morning, myself and Dr. Motilal Ramprasad, the Director of the National Energy Corporation and the Acting President of the NGC, Mr. Edmund Sobrian, held a meeting together with Mr. Edmund Thompson and Mr. Dean Perkins of Nutrien, and we took the position that we would allow Nutrien to continue to their operations by uninhibited access of the port facilities until the 31st of December 2025.
The government has cut $45 million from the on-the-job training program, but the finance minister says more sustainable jobs are coming. During yesterday morning's Standing Finance Committee, the tertiary education minister was questioned about the major cut, and the finance minister explained that the government's new employment drive aims to help citizens find long-term work.
For simplicity, OJC training is a temporary measure. The government has clearly announced the employment and the filling of vacancies at a national level. The government has also engaged in a recruitment drive for that purpose. The intention of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, this government, is to provide strong, sustainable, reliable, well-paying jobs to young people.
$275 million was allocated for the program in this fiscal year, down from $320 million in 2025. And a man abandoned his vehicle and jumped into a river in a desperate bid to evade arrest, leaving behind nearly $5.5 million worth of marijuana. Police say they received a tip on Tuesday about a car transporting firearms and narcotics heading out of Maracas. Officers intercepted the vehicle near the pillars and pursued it through Santa Cruz. The chase ended along Saddle Road, where the driver ditched the car and jumped off a bridge into the river below. Inside the abandoned vehicle, officers discovered 3 bales containing 90 bricks of marijuana stashed in the trunk. The drugs carry an estimated street value just shy of $5.5 million, and the suspect remains on the run as the search continues. Well, those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC radio network.
Food basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh produce and everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale retail, everything for you. Arima, Shagwana, Shafle, go view. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh produce and everything fantastic. Food basket, hypermarket, Arima, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
High blood pressure doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aja Nutrition's blood pressure support is crafted with a clinical strength blend to help you take control naturally. Gentle on the body, powerful for your heart. Blood pressure support by Aja Nutrition. Naturally strong.
Tile Depot Diwali sale on now. Stunning floors at dazzling prices. 12 by 12, $750. 17 by 17, $975. 18 by 18, $995. 20 by 20, $15.95. And 22 by 22, only $20. Visit Tile Depot Limited today at Bagney Chase Village. Call 234-4402.
CLR is your turn. The Roadie Lovers comedy show is coming to the east. Cipriani Lebac College. One show only. Sunday the 2nd of November, 6:30 p.m. baby. Tickets available at Electronics Arima, Doman Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral, Val Park, Gay Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, West Mall, Brentwood Plaza, Chaguanas, and C3 Center Mall, San Fernando. And IslandEtickets.com. For more info, call 683-0356. Eastside, are you ready to laugh? Well, clock it.
5 minutes after 7 on this Thursday morning. Let's check in with our daily health tip. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Ever pondered how remarkably adaptable our brain is and how diverse circumstances can reconfigure its structure and function? This process is called neuroplasticity, a symbol of our brain's resilience and adaptability. Whether it's dealing with PTSD or partaking in calming meditation, our brain can transform its makeup. Neuroplasticity is key in showing our brain's remarkable versatility. Now let's delve into how these conditions alter the brain's landscape. Emotional trauma from post-traumatic stress disorder overactivates the amygdala, impacting the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus, leading to emotional reactions and memory problems. Strokes disrupt brain blood flow, impacting speech and muscle control. Alcohol use disorder affects the hippocampus, creating memory issues. Alzheimer's disease interferes with neuron communication, causing memory loss. Migraines affect brain matter due to nerve sensitivity. Brain injuries from concussions cause lasting damage. Bipolar disorder arises from neurotransmitter imbalances, causing mood swings. Multiple sclerosis scars nerves due to immune system attacks. ADHD affects attention network's function. Despite these challenges, there's hope. Activities like meditation increase gray matter, reducing inflammation. Regular exercise improves blood flow and brain cell growth, enhancing cognition. Indeed, our brain is not a static entity, one constantly changing and adapting to different conditions. While some conditions are beyond our control, we can foster brain health. Mindfulness meditation, regular physical exercise, and dietary supplements can enhance cognitive functions. They improve focus, memory, and mental stamina, providing essential nutrients for your brain. Striking a balance is key. One should not overshadow the other. Your choices significantly impact your brain health. Every choice you make can contribute to a healthier brain.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Sincere thanks. Let's take the pause and we come back. Mental health matters. Johanse Arodike joins us next. A very interesting talking point right after the break.
Looking for big savings and a better shopping experience? Come on down to Food Shoppers Supermarket, 121 Eastern Main Road, Arima, in the J Chai Trading Compound. 10% off meats every Wednesday, 30% off fresh produce every Sunday and Monday. Plus, buy one, get one deals on select items. Shop in comfort, wide aisles, cool and clean store, and spacious parking. Food Shoppers Supermarket, big on savings, big on comfort.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass, and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Mental Health Matters. Johanse Ayodike joins me on the Zoom line. Johanse, good morning to you. As always, welcome.
Morning, Jason. Morning, everybody.
Today we're dealing with fear, and that's a powerful talking point. Going back to my story, this is out of a movie, Johanse. I was talking to ESP Russell, and even this morning in my monologue. In a nutshell, long story short, man had marijuana in car, police intercept, high-speed chase through Santa Cruz, pull the car across the side of the road, man runs by a bridge, sees river, jumps into river, swims away. I mean, the fear of being locked up and having to be held accountable, I'm sure, made the man perform what is clearly a superhuman activity, Johanse. I mean, obviously, officers didn't jump in. Officers mark his face, and I guess they will catch him on the rebound. But we have heard of those stories where men who jump off cliff, jump over wall, 9-foot wall, stuff that you can't do on a regular. I guess fear and adrenaline and the momentum, I would imagine, Johanse, makes you do some really amazing things, right?
But as you say in that day, right, sometimes, and that's what I want to differentiate, sometimes there's a difference between fear and caution, right? Fear is more an instinctual, sometimes irrational response to the possibility of something negative. And caution is more measured and more, if you're based on evidence and you know. Now, in the case of a chase, I would say some of it could be fear, but we never know. Next thing the man is familiar with Santa Cruz. Next thing he's familiar with the river. What he did may not actually be fear. It could have been some sort of coordination because he know the area or he may be familiar with some of the facts. What do you think about that?
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about it that way because I know generally when your liberty is being taken, or at least if you're in a moment where you realize, okay, freedom as I know it is no more. People tend to, they contort the body. People, we have seen the videos, we have heard of all these amazing stories where people do what is almost superhuman. And I guess fear, even when you are cornered, for someone who would have been attacked. I remember a friend of mine, very quiet, Johanse, very quiet, cool, quiet girl. A guy tried to take her car. He attempted robbery in a car park in Shogunas, and she became superwoman. She grabbed him, choked him. She rumpled up the man, and the man he went his way. So I guess you always hear of the flight or fight, freeze sometimes too. Fear can make you just become totally paralyzed. So it's really, I guess, how you respond, and these are things I would imagine, Johanse, you can't really anticipate or plan in advance, right? I guess it's in the moment. It's only then you know what metal you're made of.
For the most part, no. And what I would say, even that situation there where you say your friend, she fight the man, right? Sometimes that may not even be fair. That could be anger. It could be the fact that I work hard for my car and you come to take it from me, and I'm not letting that happen. And it's very interesting you said that we can't plan for it because that initial instinctual reflexive reaction sometimes is what really shows our true character.
Yeah, it shows the metal. So what is fear really? Because it can't be an illusion because clearly there are certain things in it. There's clearly an innate fear. You know, people who are fearful of snakes, fearful of heights, who afraid snail. You just can't explain it. You see it and you just, like for me, if a frog come in the studio now, Johanse, I'm gone. Them big crapo, I'm not playing with that. No, Johanse, I can't make. Ribbit. There's something in me that there's a genuine fear when it comes to that. I can't deal with it, Johanse.
In most cases, fear is imagination. It's not really based in reality because, let me use an example. If you see a snake bite somebody, right, and therefore afterwards you exercise caution, not necessarily fear, that is because that comes from a place of empirical, real evidence. Versus I see a snake bite somebody on TV, I hear about what a snake could do, and I have a fear of it. Now, I'm not saying something wrong with fear. It is to understand it, but what tends to happen is it comes in the realm of irrational. So now, wherever I perceive there may be a snake, I don't want to be there, even though the evidence may show a snake may not be there. So once you even have, like you say, you even have a little piece of bush in the yard. So you see bush, you think snake, you cut down everything, you compete over the place. I don't want to have anything there. That is the difference. So there's a difference between caution and exercising fear.
So what about fear that comes from a place of experience? They say children, babies are fearless because they don't have experience. They don't know what a snake could do. They don't know what children just, they go towards anything. And then we as adults will tell them, no, come, thing, whatever. We come into ourselves, we become adults, and then there's an innate fear of sometimes taking chances, fear of relationships, fear of failure. There's so much that we could put next to fear as adults, and sometimes it could put a kind of cap on sometimes our potential.
Well, let me go back. Let's use a child. A child put their hand close to the stove and they get burned. And then next time they exercise caution, not fear, caution, because they know for sure that this thing happened to me. So it's experiential, right? Versus a child go even near the kitchen, the parent, oh God, come out today, you'll get burned. Now, after that, because of the initial reaction of the parent, whether or not that child ever gets burned, they will now have a fear, which is an imagination of what could happen. So let's go with what you said, failure, right? Most times I imagine if I don't accomplish exactly what I want to, what could be the repercussions. You're not coming from a place of empirical evidence versus, let's say, you have a business, you try the business, and it didn't work out the way you want. Now you have empirical evidence. But next time you go to approach business, it's not fear you're going with, you're going with caution, because now I know the things that I did, quote unquote, wrong and what didn't work, and now I could do something different. So that's the difference. Caution is more comes from what happened real, and now you could apply some rational strategy to it. And fear is something you imagine that may or may not happen in a negative manner.
But do you think sometimes a fear could be built into our our subconscious, our DNA, it's inherent? Because there are some folks who, there's a particular fear for, let's say, the ocean, a fear for heights, a fear for plane. How some people genuinely, we're talking here, they freak out on a plane. You have to take sleeping tablet. Any shake, any slight variation with the aircraft, people, a fear of death. I guess ultimately it's a fear of death, because anything that's a bit risky, or there's that particular fear, I guess the ultimate fear, the end of that road will be, you thinking of your actual existence and the fact that, well, if I go into this crap or jump in the sea, if I jump in the deep. Think about it, you answer that people who, from the time the foot can't touch the ground, they go into a state of panic, and that panic could actually cause them to really end up in some problems in the waters. So how does one get over that? Is there help for people like that, you answer?
Yes. And I would say, even in my work with people with phobias, most times when you investigate the genesis of it, it's something that wasn't even real. So to watch TV, like I remember when I was young, I was afraid of spiders because I had watched this movie Arachnophobia. And it's only when I actually deal with spiders in real time and realize it's not as deadly, that they wouldn't grow big or they wouldn't bite and kill me, is that I realized that what I was feeling wasn't real. People, I remember I dealt with a guy who used to be afraid, same thing, of any type of water, because he's not necessarily fear of dying, as you were saying, because although some people are afraid of dying, it's necessarily the fear of how they might die. So he was afraid of suffocation, right? And because when he was young, he was suffocated, and he remember how trapped and how he felt. Sometimes even with planes, people would think about, I see what a plane crash look like on TV. It's fire, I break my bones, and so forth and so on. So some of it, yes, is death, but some of it may be how they might die and the pain they might experience. But at the same time, most of it is imagination, and most of it is not experiential, because there's a difference if I witnessed a plane crash or I was in a plane crash once, so therefore now I'm exercising caution for the next plane, but to understand what fear is. Now, I'm not saying fear, something is wrong necessarily with fear, right? Because we all feel it sometimes reflexively, instinctively. But a good question to ask when you feel the fear is this true? Or how is this true? And then that could lead to the path of navigating it in a more healthy manner.
Interesting, Yohanse. I'll let you have the final say as always, but I'd love for one of these days we probably do fearless. People who are fearless, who, as we say in Trinidad terms, have real belly. They just, they're afraid nothing. And there are people who clearly, through their actions, it's almost like, wow, you're a real daredevil, but you're different.
We could do that next week one time. We'll put that in and do fearless next week one time.
I love it. Well, let's have a closing remark on this most interesting topic, fear.
Nation, nothing wrong with feeling fear. Is a natural reaction, but ask yourself, is this true or how is this true, so that you can navigate this fear in a healthy manner. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
All the best, Yohanse. Thank you so much. Have a great one, and we look forward next week, God spare, to another interesting talking point. We'll probably go for the fearless. Yes.
Yeah.
Say less. All right. Yohanse, Mental Health Matters Thursday. We come back and get into some housekeeping. Of course, we get these. I'll give you the details as to how you can be part of the program, and then we stand by at 7:30 for Ian Wason with the morning shot right here via the Morning Brew.
Welcome to the speed round of getting money right. Let's begin. Name some of the red flags associated with an investment scam.
Pressure tactics to invest.
Correct.
Promise of money if you bring friends.
Correct.
Request for personal information.
Correct. Bonus question. What is the penalty for operating a pyramid or Ponzi scheme?
$10 million and 10 years in prison.
Correct. Well done. The scores are even, so we go to our tiebreaker question. You receive money in your account from an investment company, and they tell you to transfer it to a third account. Does that sound right?
I think about it, and that's not right.
Congratulations, you tinker. Getting Money Right is brought to you by the TTSEC. Visit investigateTT.com to access free learning resources and check the TTSEC for a list of registered individuals and securities. The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. You invest, we protect, everyone benefits.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. Join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Don't forget, we are Food Basket Superstore right here in Arima. Come see for yourself. From stationery to household items and so much more right here at Food Basket Superstore in Arima.
I really love the variety. There's something for everyone here.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
more Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Welcome back. Let's remind you ways you can contact us and book or make the request to sit with me on the couch or join me via the Zoom line. You're sending an email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt, our generic email address. Our producer will answer, give you a response, and, certainly we'll have you on soon. Indeed. We move on to the social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, X, very active. We stay on top of all the developments. We vet the stories and put it out so you will be in the know. That's the same mandate when it comes to the mobile app. Your number one source for verified breaking news, all your content there on demand and programming details. So I would say download the app today. Yes, everybody have a smartphone, so do the right thing. Let's head across to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Today being Thursday, your Business Guardian Thursday. Get your copy, new look and feel, and for those who want to enjoy the Guardian on their laptop, their tablet, their smartphone, you can get your subscription today when you visit guardian.co.tt. That's right, stay on top of everything, all developments. Let's head across to our food for thought on this Thursday morning. It reads, it is not the years in your life, but the life in your years that counts. Again, it is not the years in your life, but the life in your years. You know, you look at the people like Bob Marley. He lived for 36 years, only 36 years on the planet, on Earth. And look at his contribution. It still resonates and it's profound up to this day, even probably more so. So again, that is a great example of being able to put so much years, well, you put life into the years and you will live on. Your legacy will live on for a long, long, long time. So with that, we're going to head across to our world weather wrap. Let's hear from Jamark as to what's happening today via not only the weather here at home, but also some developments overseas. Jamark, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we head over to the United States where, believe it or not, winter is only a few weeks away. And some people are going to need their extra warm coats and blankets, especially if you're planning a holiday trip. AccuWeather officials say this season, intense winter storms are expected for various areas, including the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Some cities, including Boston and Philadelphia, are forecast to see more snow than usual. It's the opposite for the Southeast and Gulf Coast, where temperatures could hit record high levels, with little rain providing relief. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, drought conditions are expected to worsen and wildfire threats will remain high. Now, while the winter season officially starts on December 21st, the meteorological winter season begins on December 1st. That's just the day after the Atlantic hurricane season officially ends. Now, staying within the U.S., a weather and climate disaster database, which the Trump administration retired in May, has been given new life by a non-profit organization. The database tracks extreme weather disasters that cause $1 billion or more in damage to property and other infrastructure. In its first update at its new site, the database shows that with $101 billion in losses during the first 6 months of 2025, that has been the most expensive first 6 months of any year since 1980. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration used to host this very database. Its administrator, Adam Smith, took early retirement this year as part of the Trump administration's push to shrink the federal bureaucracy. The decision to discontinue the database was partially due to his departure, but the climate research nonprofit called Climate Central has since hired him to rebuild and host the database there. Certainly good news for climate and disaster risk reduction researchers. Now let's take a look at our local weather forecast for today, where we can expect a mostly sunny and breezy day despite occasional brisk showers. Now some of these showers can pack quite a punch, as we've seen yesterday, so they can be moderate to heavy at times and accompanied by gusts. Also, once Tropical Storm Melissa remains out in the Caribbean Sea, we'll continue to get winds out of the southeast, so showers will originate from that direction as opposed to the east or northeast, which we're accustomed to. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Jamark, sincere thanks. Let's get ready for the morning shot. Up next, Ian Wason takes us via sport in depth across the not only Trinidad and Tobago, but some of the developments far removed. So it's time for the morning shot. Up next, right here on The Brew.
Looking for big savings and a better shopping experience? Come on down to Food Shoppers Supermarket, 121 Eastern Main Road, Arima, in the J Chai Trading Compound. 10% off meats every Wednesday, 30% off fresh produce every Sunday and Monday. Plus, buy one, get one deals on select items. Shop in comfort, wide aisles, cool and clean store, and spacious parking. Food Shoppers Supermarket. Big on savings, big on comfort.
Question: how much does a funeral go for these days? I guarantee the figure you're thinking is way smaller than the actual cost. Because even though life is priceless, death is real expensive. But CUNA Caribbean's Family Indemnity Plan can help for things like sudden funeral costs, plus the other bills left behind that could threaten your finances. And imagine, for a monthly payment of less than $70, you could cover up to 9 family members. And you don't have to take a medical exam to sign up. So don't stick. Get the Family Indemnity Plan. Why? Because it's a good thing. Trust me. CUNA Caribbean Insurance. For all people. Terms and conditions apply.
No, this is Radical Trading, you know that? And them have everything to cover anything. Radical Trading have the best fabric designs for your upholstery needs, yeah? So furniture, car, boat, tent, even material for school bags.
This will look really nice on my couch, boy.
They even making pillow too.
Sprang.
Oui.
Oh, shucks, I forget my money.
Serious?
They could pay for it for me.
Me and my big mouth boy, I want a Radical get thing to cover mouth yet.
Radical Trading, 4 locations nationwide.
The public is demanding it, so the laughter continues. You don't leave out to watch Corn is now at Central Bank Auditorium for 2 nights only. Saturday, October 25th at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday, October 26th at 6:30 p.m. Don't miss the play that some say is the funniest of all time. Tickets available now online and at the usual outlets. And from Monday, October 20th, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily at the Central Bank box office. You don't leave foul to watch Corn has been mashing up audiences.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Welcome and good morning. Welcome to the Morning Shot, where we talk sport up to the hour of 8 o'clock. This morning, we talk football because the TTPFL begins this Friday in Tobago. Of course, we'll hear all what is happening with the TTPFL season this year. But before we go into all of that, let's look at the back page of today's Guardian, because NAPS stumbles against Presentation College of San Fernando in a 1-0 win for Prez over NAPS. And you can read all about that from Walter Allaby's story. But I want to look at the plain talk section here from former Jamaican and former West Indies off spinner Nehemiah Perry. He says, I don't